Since 2002, the World Happiness Report has used statistical analysis to determine the world's happiest countries. Here are the list of top 10 happiest countries in the world. To determine the world's happiest country, researchers analyzed comprehensive Gallup polling data from 149 countries for the past 3 years, specifically monitoring performance in 6 particular categories. 1. Gross domestic product per capita. 2. Social support. 3. Healthy life expectancy. 4. Freedom to make your own life choices. 5. Generosity of the general population. 6. Perceptions of internal and external corruption levels. Family is important in Austria. It is the basis for social structure. Sundays are usually reserved for family activities. They also value sitting down for dinner and talking. They have smaller houses meant for 2 to 3 people. Many people are having less kids. Austria has a fairly nice climate. The average temperature is 68 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer. Austria is known for their generous healthcare system. The government pays for it, but it comes out of their tax money. Austrians generally don't have their own cars. They use buses, taxis and trains. They usually just use public transportation. Austrian children go to school from 7:25 a.m. to noon. They don't have homework very often. They chose their profession by themselves when they are around 13 or 14 years old. The literacy rate is 95%. New Zealand is like stepping into a dream you never want to leave. From snow-covered mountains and volcanic terrain to spectacular lakes, and miles upon miles of glorious sandy beaches, your eyes are in for a treat whichever way you look. Many locations in New Zealand will fill you with the most incredible sense of peace and tranquility. From awesome trails, hikes, skiing, skydiving, to water sports and so much more, it's scientifically impossible to ever get bored. Family is important in Austria. It is the basis for social structure. Sundays are usually reserved for family activities. They also value sitting down for dinner and talking. They have smaller houses meant for 2 to 3 people. Many people are having less. Luxembourg ranks 8th in the World Happiness Report 2020, and progresses from 10th place in 2019. The turbulence created by COVID-19 has had little influence on the overall ranking of the world's happiest countries, which shows both the global nature of the pandemic and a widely shared resilience in the face of it. Sweden has a higher lack of corruption score than all but 4 countries worldwide, 2 of which are Finland and Denmark, the 14th highest GDP per capita of all 149 countries measured, and the 4th highest life expectancy in the top 7. A high GDP per capita, which it shares with many of its Nordic neighbors, is not the sole reason, either. An emphasis on social equality that is built into the education system starting in kindergarten, 16 months of paid family leave that can be split between a couple after a new child is welcomed into a family, and free daycare also makes Sweden the best country for women, according to a separate study. Basically, an emphasis on work-life balance leads to a happier populace. The citizens of 6th place Norway feel they are being well cared for by their government thanks to universal healthcare and free college tuition. Norwegians also enjoy a healthy work-life balance, working an average of 38 hours per week versus 41.5 hours per week in the United States. Additionally, Norway has a low crime rate and a strong sense of community among its citizens, a quality it shares with many of the top 7. The mix of a well-integrated government welfare system and a thriving economy built on responsible management of its natural resources, good riddance, fossil fuel-powered cars, means that very few are left behind, and the feelings of social support, trust in government, and economic well-being that come from it all contribute to overall happiness. The biggest stat from the Netherlands this year? That its happiness levels have barely changed between 2005 and 2020. Edging out Norway for the honor of fifth happiest country in the world is the Netherlands, also known as Holland to many tulip lovers. Dutch happiness starts from young age as teenagers show higher satisfaction level. Low corruption rate indicates high level of trust and kindness, which makes it a happy place to live. A 2013 UNICEF report rated Dutch children the happiest in the world, based on a number of metrics related to educational well-being, safety, and health. Vincent van Gogh was the exception, not the rule. Iceland ranks high in terms of the proportion of respondents who said they felt like they had a fellow citizen to count on when the going gets rough. This perhaps became most obvious in the wake of the country's post-2007 financial collapse and subsequent revitalization. Iceland ranks as 2021's fourth happiest country in the entire world, with a total score of 7.554. Iceland has the highest feeling of social support, higher even than Finland, Norway, and Denmark, which all tied for second place. Iceland also had the second highest generosity score in the top 7, though it's worth noting that it ranked only 11th worldwide. As the third happiest country in the world, Switzerland scored a total of 7.571 out of 10. In general, the Swiss are very healthy, with one of the world's lowest obesity rates and a long life expectancy. The Swiss also have a very high median salary, about 75% higher than that of the United States, and the highest GDP per capita in the top 7. Additionally, there is a strong sense of community in Switzerland and a firm belief that it is a safe and clean country, which is statistically true. Along with Iceland and Denmark, Switzerland is one of the world's safest countries. Switzerland is a country where everything is voted on, from how many vacation days workers should have to how many immigrants should be allowed into the country, and referendums down to the local level happen many times a year. This system of direct democracy means that Swiss citizens feel an unparalleled sense of participation in their country's evolution. The second happiest country in the world is Denmark, which scores 7.620. Denmark's values for each of the 6 variables are quite comparable to those of Finland. In fact, Denmark even outscored the leader in multiple categories, including GDP per capita, generosity, and perceived lack of corruption, demonstrating that it may claim the top spot sometime in the near future. Home to the world's most bike-friendly city and a coastline that you could spend a lifetime exploring, the country's happiness certainly comes in part from a respect for the planet it's built on. Well-paying jobs, excellent social security and good work-life balance is what makes them happy. Danish way of life is a secret desire of many countries. Finland ranks as the world's happiest country based on the 2021 report, with a score of 7.842 out of a total possible score of 10. The report writers credited the citizens of Finland's strong feelings of communal support and mutual trust with not only helping secure the #1 ranking, but, more importantly, helping the country as a whole navigate the COVID-19 pandemic. Additionally, Finlanders felt strongly that they were free to make their own choices, and showed minimal suspicion of government corruption. Both of these factors are strong contributors to overall happiness. The country consistently ranks among the top education systems in the world, occasionally beaten out by countries like South Korea, Japan, and Singapore.